Hello everybody and welcome to A Voice in the Wilderness. Today a quick recap on what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about perspective. We're going to talk about the same path or the same goal with different views from different paths. Before you skip this video, I know everyone gets sick of hearing about that. Just try to hear my perspective on it, because myself, I do get a little tired of hearing people say it's a matter of perspective. But on this video, I promise maybe I'll change your mind on this. Okay guys, let's get started. So there's a path that I take when I hike. I hike in different places on the western side of the United States. And there's one place I take, it's close to a freeway. And the one side that I take, it's kind of a rougher path, beautiful, nice, kind of sacred. But then you hit this one part on the path, and I've always hated that part. Hate's not the right word. I've always had a hard time, and it's a part inside of the path that I really am like, I just like to get through it to get on to the other parts that are really cool. So before this part of the path, down below, it's kind of beautiful. It's got some great scenery. This area, not so much. It's kind of like, let's just get through here. Once you get past that, it's beautiful. There's another path I've started taking, and I don't go all the way in because sometimes when I take this path, I don't always tell people where I'm at. So that way, the reason why I don't take the full path usually is because if something happens, no one knows where to find me. But one day I was curious when I took this other path. It's on the same mountain. One trail goes this way, one trail goes this way, one goes to a lake. The other, I have no idea where it goes. So when I took this other path, instead of stopping halfway through it, I decided to go as far as I could go that day that physically I could handle. And I came to this one spot in the path that was just, all of a sudden, there's dead silence. You got to realize this is a path kind of close to a freeway, so you're trying to enjoy nature, but you just hear this, right? You guys know what I'm talking about if you hike and you hike anywhere near freeways. And all of a sudden, it's dead silence, dead noise. There's just like this. It's like something lifts off of you. It's almost like you enter into this oasis. You enter into this sacred realm, this place that nobody else has touched, just virgin land. And I remember thinking this place was so cool. There's moss on the trees, the way the stones were, the way the path was. Absolutely gorgeous. Just took my breath away. And dead silence, which I love silence, and there's not enough silence right now in this day and time. There's always something. There's always a noise. So as I continue on this path, it just got more and more beautiful. It felt more and more safe. And pretty soon there's like this field. And there's these aspen trees along with the pine trees. It was a very overwhelming sight. Very beautiful, very healing. You can just sit there and you feel like you're in this safe place that nothing can touch you. And as I'm hiking down deeper into it, I'm like, I'm just going to go a little bit deeper. Then I need to head back just in case you run into bears, mountain lions, something happens. Nobody knows I'm up here. Usually I'll go as far as I can go and people know. If something happens, it happens. But as I got down further and further, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm starting to recognize this place. And the more I go down, I recognize the field and the aspen trees, because it's one of the great places you see before you hit that area that you hate. Got my mind away. I was like like a puzzle, because I was like, wait, I'm in the place I hate. I don't like the place I hike. And usually everywhere I go, I don't like that area. It's boring, it's dense, it's hard. It just is kind of nonstop. And I was like, kind of cool to see it from a different perspective, okay? But I really, truly did see it from a different perspective. I didn't put my mind there and imagine I had to physically see it. I went for a New Year's hike to start the New Year's on the right foot. Not using that this year, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to keep track, and we're going to keep on with the goals for the rest of this year. So that was my goal. I took the wrong path because I wanted to come down that, because I just feel that beauty again. And that trail branches off into several other. I took the wrong trail, so I ended up to the middle of the trail that I normally usually take. So when I took that, went to that one area that I hate going up that way. I rather go down through it. But then as I did that, I'm like, I just can't see perspective from going up. It's just crappy area. But from this way coming down, like very sacred, gorgeous, breathtaking place. And it kind of hit and dawned on me, I want to be careful how I say this, because when I say this, I don't like people to let their guards down and take away their perspectives. People have perspectives for a reason. People have their views for a reason, okay? And like their views, don't think they're judgmental, but if you live the life they lived, you'd understand why they are so on some of these issues. It makes me think, you take us that we're on the same path, and what I mean by same path, a lot of us same path as we're going on the same path, we're having different opportunities. What dawned on me, like, there's a circle of this path that is the same path, but we're coming at different angles, because maybe it's an accident, maybe it happens planned out, sometimes no choice. And what hit me that I wanted to share with all of you is, here's this same area that from this perspective, it's like sacred virgin land. And from this perspective, it's the dreaded part of the hike. Okay? Most people that hike with me up that way, they hate it too. They're like, I hate this part. It's boring, it's long, it's a workout. But from down here, it's like, I just want to stay here all day long. And that's just something to think about when we're dealing with others, or even ourselves, or even where we place ourselves and how we're placing ourselves there. Right? This is advice I want to be very careful. You can use this advice to get you in trouble. That's not what I'm trying to do. But there's the world against us, and sometimes we feel like we are falling behind. You might be 38 years old and you're still struggling. You still can't get out of your McDonald's, trying and trying and trying. You're not like everybody else that keeps giving up or is distracted, has a problem with addiction. There's some of us that do the right things and are just not turning out. While I go on these hikes, sometimes I listen to talks and I listen to inspirational, quotes. Because like I said, this next year, there's a lot of goals that need to be accomplished. I heard this one man talk. He was talking about doing everything right, but not doing the right things. And this is why you're stuck at. Because you're doing everything correctly, but you're not doing the right thing. If you think about it, this area on the hike is much like our life. Because let's look at the conditions. Probably heard me talk from other videos. It takes 1,000 things for one thing to exist. Okay. The reason why this area just seems, wow, so amazing, just because you're going from the hard part of the hike into the sacred area, and it's all of a sudden the noise cuts out. Some of you may not know what I'm talking about, but you go between two or certain set of trees, and every sound is gone completely. It's weird. It goes from you can hear traffic to there's nothing. All right. So that's one reason why everything disappeared, and it was at the end of the hardest part of that hike. Now, from the other perspective, coming the other direction, this is when the hike gets harder, and it's not as rewarding. The sound is gradually drowned out with each take. So you almost don't get that reward instantly of the sound no longer exists in the forest. So up here, it's instant gratification. And that instant gratification is not easier all of a sudden. So there's no noise, but you worked hard and you got there. The other, you're there. You're in the place you've been working for. You just may not realize it because now that you're hitting it, you're going uphill and it's going to be harder. It's going to be harder for you. And which is one of the rewards of the area. That's why everyone hikes to the area, because it's just away from everything. It's away from the sound and the traffic. It dawned on me that we're happy all the time, and sometimes we have to stop, look where you're at. You have to see where you're at. You're probably in that same space. All of us are competing with each other. I don't have my Jeep Rubicon. I have a beat-down car that you break down, or you might have a beat-down car and a nice house, or a beat-down house and a nice car. You should be further at than where you're at. And you're comparing yourself to other people because you think you're worse than them. Sometimes comparing yourself to other people is a marker of where you think you should be. But if you realize it, if you took two groups and they meet up together, you're going to, in the same spot, you're going to have the here be like, oh man, we got to go. Wow, this is really fun. Other people are going to be like, well, this is a really nice, can you believe this area? Like, other people like, this part's just too hard. And is your side wrong on this situation? Is anyone wrong about this? Because the thing is, if you took the other way, you're not wrong. It's shocking. You come down to this magic instant reward. And dopamine dump. Instant. One, the reward's still there, but because the path we took and the way we had to handle things, we just don't recognize and see where we're at. Because some of us, we planned things out, we had fun in college, we had parents that maybe encouraged us a little bit more. It's okay, it's good. The rest of us, maybe we've been beat down, maybe there's abuse. We're going up the hill and we still have the weight in our minds and in our head about how hard this is. But it's not, because we're still focused on the hard parts. We're not stopping to take the sacred area, the place. We're surrounded by these beautiful trees. There's this grove. From up here, it's absolutely shocking and amazing. From here, it's like, oh God. That's why sometimes where you are at, you may stop and look behind you and look around you and see exactly the blessings that you have that are keeping you going. The blessings that may not seem like they're not really there, but they're there because you're going. You keep on going. Something must be on your side. You have made it this far. If you made it this far. And one of the things I thought about, you really have something that pleases you. They will allow you to see both sides, the reward of seeing sides work just as hard. Work just as hard to get there. It's just one side, and here you go. It's starting to happen for you. You graduated after 4 years of college. Things are going to work out for you. You're a nail tech now. Things are working out for you. Here, are you ever going to escape working in this dead-end warehouse? Are you ever going to escape this marriage or this job that just won't stop? This is when we start to focus I want to be very careful when I say focus on the positive, because focusing on the positive can put you in a jail cell. I remember being younger, I used to hate it when there's something I didn't like or something I didn't feel good about. And you always have that hippie talking about staying in the positive, and when you talk negative, the things you attract to. No, 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 no. I'm not talking about that silly, illusionary crap. I'm talking you are in a real negative situation. It's negative no matter how you look at it. But we have to start to look at the little things that we are gaining, because it's the low-hanging fruit. And these are the things we're going to have to look at and cling on to for hope to get us through to more blessings and more blessings. Something I would like to point out is how many of us work hard to get this job or work hard for this relationship. We don't want to be alone. We want the beautiful girl, and we get the beautiful girl. We want a best friend, we get the best friend. 3 or 4 years later, the best friend may not be exactly what we want. We want more. Now we're focused on getting this car, or focused on this hobby. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but let's just think about this for a minute. When do we ultimately just bask in our happiness and bask with what we have worked for, instead of looking at the world as completely against us? And some of you, it is. I don't like other motivational talkers that call people sissies or angry at people or talk low about people or what's wrong with them because the world's against them. There are some people, they are in positions, things are not working right, and they're not going to work right for a while. That's what my channel is about. We're going to get you to see deeper into these things, because it's real and it does happen. There is times the car has a flat, and then the car breaks down, and then the wife says we are going to be divorced, and then dad turns on you and you lose your job and your dog dies, all within a matter of a few months. And people want to sit there in their arrogance and say the world is not against you. It is against you. And we're going to take charge. We're going to make the world be like, sorry I messed with you. I'm sorry I messed with you. I didn't mean it. Yes, you're right. But what I'm trying to get at too is we need the low-hanging fruit. How many of us have worked hard to get a video game system, and we're bored with it now? When do we stop going through everything material, going through all these goals? Everybody's about goals, 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 and I know I just now got through the spiel about goals. There's a reason for it. Some of us need goals, but there's other goals that sometimes it's like there's too many goals, there's too many things we have to make us happy. There's a difference between having goals that make you focused and goals that make you happy. There's nothing wrong with goals that make you happy, but if by goals that make you happy make you forget about the things that have made you happy, and now these things are making you miserable because you can't get the thing, we start to have a problem here. And again, it goes to that saying, doing everything right but not doing the right things. One of the things that's right, if you take the best path possible on the hike, you get that amazing reward. You take the path, the same exact path, it's a head thing, as well as you might be where you're at because you're not really doing the right things. Start looking at the low-hanging fruit. Before on the happiness of that new office, remember waiting for you is something you fought for. Some of you need to get out of that situation, but some of you know it's making it better for me. When we stop just pursuing happiness? The problem with pursuing happiness is it's a rainbow. This is where this tell of there's gold at the end of the rainbow and a leprechaun gets to the goal. It's because it never stops, it never ends. You're going to be chasing that rainbow, and you're happy while you're chasing the rainbow. You have this goal of we're going to get at the end of the rainbow. You're doing the right thing. I see it ends up, this is the mountain we're going to go. Where's the map at? We're going to hear it because that's where I see the end of the rainbow. but the end of the rainbow is not there. You're not getting the gold at the end of that rainbow. Pretty soon this pursuit makes you more angry, more miserable. You're pursuing stuff that is making you miserable. You're doing it because it's supposed to add more happiness, and it's not adding happiness to your life. Where do we go for not pursuing happiness? Where do we go? We look for contentment, because when you're content, whichever direction you come from on that hill or on that mountain, you are happy to be there. Each pine tree is precious to you. Each part of the path is precious to you. It's one path, we're looking to get past it, and we just miss the sacredness right there. That's the problem. The other is very fast self-gratification. How long does that enjoy last? It's over with. When I walked through and had that experience is gone. It went away. Poof. You see my incense? It's like the incense right now. It smells great, it smells nice, but each second it's gone. Because contentness, I live each moment, and each brings me joy. Each moment brings me happiness. When I break down in the rain, the car, I am in the moment, I am content. Now is the time you can practice being content, because there may be things along this moment you have missed out if the car breaks down. Being content when you come home. You don't have a 64-inch TV, but you know what? You do have your office, and you do have that you worked really hard for last week. Being content. Being content means when you get out, now is to experience something you've never experienced. Take part of the opportunity. The reason why I say that, most people are miserable when the electricity goes out. It's like going up the hill. If you would stop and sat down on the rock, take a deep breath and look around, I would have seen the same thing when I came down from the other direction. It's there. When electricity goes out, guess what? Now's the time to experience something I've never experienced. Silence, stillness. How did my ancestors get so far? Think about it. How did we would not be able to handle what our ancestors had to get us here? It's kind of embarrassing. Part of it is that they weren't pursuing so many things. They were pursuing contentness, content by hunting and having food for the next few days. Being content in a cave. Being content on the prairie. Got that out of the way. So this video really is about finding being content, and when things are against you, it's getting hard. It's time to stop. Time to take a deep breath, sit down, look around you. This may be a beautiful moment that you're missing out on, because like I said, we're coming from different angles. This part's easier, or this part has a reward at the end. You may not realize the part you're on is actually the reward. But because we're constantly pursuing something, it was right there. And what was that goal? It's the sounds of the city. Just going to my quiet, sacred place. So having to go deeper into the forest, I didn't realize how quiet that place was until I came over the hill, because again, it was very fast. You know what I'm talking about? You have a puppy. 6 months later, you ask yourself, is my puppy going to grow? You might go on your phone, look at pictures and think, oh my God, I can't believe how big the puppy got, right? You hear parents always say, God, it's happened so fast, I can't believe how much it has grown. People who are a kid see it and realize, oh my God, your kid's like already 4 feet tall, and you're like, oh, really? And you look at it, you're like, oh, kid lost all the baby fat. You guys know what I'm talking about. This is a trick of the mind when we're pursuing and doing things that can affect everything we do. It can affect the money we make. It can affect our relationship. It can affect our passions. So the marriage is falling apart. We have partner that's willing to work with you, you guys are on that part of the hill. Because let me tell you something about relationships. I do believe in divorce, abuse, and there's things getting bad. Things are being destroyed. But most relationships, to be honest, you can think about this for yourself or as you see. How many times do you end up in the same situation? How many times? Because we have this weird expectations of what a relationship should be, and we're no longer being served, we're no longer being entertained. The husband's all the time, my wife doesn't sleep with me as much, and guess what? You're gonna get next relationship. Oh my God, I can't believe all the sex we have. It's just amazing. 2 or 3 years, that's going to be done. You're going to be back to the same before. And as you guys want to do more vacations and you want to do more parties and more things, guess what? He's going to have to work more. You guys are going on this path, keep ending up in the same spot. If you come down here very fast, it's wonderful. It's so wonderful. He loves me so much. We go on up here because marriage is and it's frustrating right here. You're in the same spot, believe it or not. You're in the same exact spot. I just don't go on dates anymore. And he just, she's always tired and, we're supposed to have sex tonight and we didn't and we have to wait till tomorrow. You're going to come, guess what? It's the same exact spot. And you're going to end up back here again as you're hiking around. Girl, you're going to go through this again with your wife getting tired of your jokes. The next girl thinks you're funny is going to think you're boring in a few months or a few years. The man that just doesn't take enough time for you, and he used to call me pretty, the new guy that worships you and compliments you. But I'm going to go through this again too in the next 4 or 5. Being content, building a life that you can have a foundation on so you can continue to achieve anything you want to achieve because you have the ground of being and that foundation. Anyways, that's it for this talk. And if you guys got value out of this, I ask that you like and share this video. We also have retreat soon for this next summer, and the reason why we haven't yet, I posted this in the last few videos, we keep having the schedule change. So before I get people excited about me happen this summer, I want to make sure we have a solid plan. But anyways, think about this, think about your perspective, think about where you're coming from. You might be where you're at, where other people. Here's another thought before we leave. Have you ever met somebody and what life is about? Where they're at. Meet them, man, this guy's black belt in jiu-jitsu, or man, she's a contortionist. My God, she's so amazing. I love my friend Joe. My friend Joe, and the money he made. Well, he's in that spot and everything looks great. We don't see all the uphill battles those people had to get to where they're at. Right? So again, we're all in the same spot, but it's how we get there. It's what the work we're going to do to put into it. It's when our mind is going to, oh my God, wake up and see where we're at. So right now is the time to wake up and see where you're at. Anyways, guys, thank you for joining me on A Voice in the Wilderness. Tune in next time. We'll talk more about meditations, religion, spirituality, and we're going to try to get our heads on straight for 2024.